Welcome back to Footballin with Ben Roethlisberger. My name is Spence, and as always, I am joined here with Jerrad Lopes and two-time Super Bowl champion Ben Roethlisberger. There he is.
Go Steelers!
I gotta hit you with the pom-poms next time, bro.
Big dub today.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo, man. The all black.
In the words of Kirk Cousins, we go East.
Oh no, that's Jameis Winston. He
That's
that.
right.
Yeah,
I thought it was Kirk
Kirk
Cousins.
Cousins.
No, he's the.
You like that?
You like that? Yeah, that's my bad. My bad, Kurt and Jameis.
yeah. Get him switched up.
My bad. I guess I'm just hungry. I was late coming down here. My bad.
That's gotta be, I love Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston is the funniest person in the NFL. But the eat the W has to be
So unusual.
has to be the worst pregame pump up speech of all time. Worst or best? What do you think? You know what we're talking about? So Jameis Winston,
You're not missing anything.
he was playing for the Bucks when he did that. He tried to, guys like, hey man, so we do this in the defense. You'll typically get TJ Watt circled up. Hoorah, we ride. And it's very compelling.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston decided to not necessarily do that, but then to throw up the W and saying tonight we're gonna be eating W's and proceeded to bite.
Barbecue sauce.
And bro, you caught his team looking at him like,
What are we doing?
Boy, we gonna play?
but I'll say
Things
this.
got weird.
What are we doing?
He was so committed to the bit that he garnered my respect. I was like, buddy, this is absolutely wild. And the
So
fact,
you wanted to run through a wall for him
no, I wasn't gonna do that. But
to get some food
I thought
He put sauce on it?
on his fingers.
no,
and ate it.
it was metaphorical sauce,
Oh, metaphor.
hypothetical sauce.
He might have had real sauce in there. We don't know.
He seemed like
Yes.
somebody who would have brought props.
More, I feel like you need
might have
put
some kind of
Catch a pack, just a little.
parental advisory on this episode.
Very
It's
weird.
getting weirder by the second.
Very weird.
Listen, I just thought if we're gonna get weird, let's start it early. All right,
Sorry, that's on me.
Listen, we're a little slap happy because we're
started.
celebrating.
We are. We're happy.
We're celebrating.
Steelers.
won.
Big win. Was
I-
it a big win though? Any win's a big win. Any win's a big win. I don't mean like that. I mean, I guess I'm saying that as it a big win? Like, did we not expect that?
No, that's my point. Is I totally expected them to blow them out of the water.
But I think a lot of Steeler fans would say, yeah, but we haven't done that. And we've the ones we're supposed to win. Why is it always close? Or we don't beat the teams that we're supposed to beat. Colts, that kind of stuff. You know what? Today we did what we were supposed to do. We went out, we took care of business, and it was not even close. Like we didn't have to really watch.
Though you do present some very compelling questions, though, that we will get to later on. We have a great show for you guys today. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Steelers' win over the Las Vegas Raiders. We got. Let me be the first to congratulate you guys, because on YouTube, where this show primarily airs, it's definitely the video content, right? Mm-hmm. We have just surpassed 90,000 subscribers. That's right.
Not even a golf clap. That's an above the head
full clap.
That's more than a Steeler win. Clap.
That's the clap ratio for sure.
Should have done the.
Yeah.
That's why I really should rub the pom poms out. Can we?
I know. Where are
do
the
this
pom?
again?
I don't know why I'm looking for pom poms as if there are pom poms down here. There you go. Celebrate. There you go. Well, go ahead. Just a little to you.
Cheers, you guys.
90,000 football and family. You're 90,000 strong. We cannot thank you guys enough for tuning in. We hope that this show continues to bring you guys entertainment and insight. And throughout the season, we're committed to continue to do that better and better for you guys.
I was told, and I didn't know this till you guys told me, so much wiser people than myself, or a little wiser, much wiser, that at 100,000 subscribers, you get a plaque. Is that true?
Well, you get a plaque, sir. This is Channel 7.
Hey,
Yes.
Listen,
This
guys,
goes on your wall.
if you know someone out there, get some subscriptions, because if we truly get a plaque, we'll put it we'll find a great spot to display it so all the fans can
You got a
see
trophy
it.
Right
case?
there. You see that? Hey, Larry Fitz. Sorry. Right behind Ben. It's just
Sorry,
you.
Fitz. Can they go to your other?
Yeah.
Can we put it on the wall right here behind
Here
you?
behind me. Well, I don't want to hog the plaque.
No, it definitely needs to go behind Ben.
What if
That's so
let's replace the sink
faucet that nobody
faucet
likes.
Yeah.
The faucet
I
that
disagree.
everyone talks about.
I disagree.
It's a great
It's a
faucet. My
staple in this
wife.
show.
It's a 10 out of 10 faucet. Look at this here. You know what? We don't typically do this for you guys, but because the Steelers won, look at the features of this faucet. I mean, it's got the thing. Turn it on. And it's got different.
Good faucet. My
That's a
wife
10
picked
out
a
of-
great faucet.
Great fun.
That's a 10 out of 10 faucet.
Expect
Yeah, so
nothing
90,000. We appreciate you guys. We're stoked
Yes,
on it.
thank you guys.
Moving forward. But I'll say this. You had mentioned before we were we were getting this thing live and going, you're upstairs putting the kids to sleep, right? Because you guys have had a long day.
Been a long week.
You just got here.
Yeah, we just got back in town.
And where were you guys at, Ben?
We're in Texas. Benjamin's PGA Jr. League golf all-star team from the Team PA.
That's right, holding it down.
Was competing in the national championships in Frisco, Texas. They made it there, and we went there. So eight kids on the team, 7 young men and 1 young lady, Taylor, who carries the team. Might add, but
down, Taylor.
Yeah, we gave her a shout out on this show before, and I think her and her friends liked it. So we're giving Taylor a shout out again.
Someone's got to carry the team.
But no, we were in Frisco, and we've been there for a week, and they competed against 11 other teams from around the country, and that place is spectacular. It's the Omni PGA Ranch. So I don't know.
Sounds great.
It's unbelievable. Let me tell you this: if you like golf at all, it's got like a 5-acre putting green. Okay. Yep. Go through your minds. Yep, I see you guys thinking. 5-acre putting green. Okay. Probably has 50 holes on it on the putting green. It's huge.
I'd still miss every one of them holes, I'll tell you what, boy. I'll tell you that.
It's got like I think a 9 or 10 hole lit up par 3 course, which I must add, Benjamin got a hole in 1 on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
I expect nothing
big
less,
props
Jam.
for Jam.
Yep.
It's got like driving ranges. It's got like a Top Golf, like bays, so you can go to this like place called the Ice House where you can eat, and it's got amazing barbecue. And then like in the back part of it, there's like 4 or 5 like Top Golf bays, so you can hit on the range at like Top Golf. This place is spectacular. I'm just being honest with you guys. All the people there and the workers were so awesome. Like it's only been open for like a year and a half, and it's got a world championship golf course, the East Course. I believe is hosting a Ryder Cup in like 15 years. It's got the women's PGA Championship next year maybe, and then the men's in like 2 years. It's
that's wild.
It's a great place.
Sounds like a place I'll never be able to visit, to be honest with you.
I would walk out the ooh, sorry, we can just tell you your handicap is
More of a
way too
mini
high.
golf, mini golf kind of guy.
Mini golf.
Where's the windmills?
It was spectacular. So it was a lot of fun. So we were there for the golf, and it was just a fun time. So we just got back a little while ago and was putting the kids to bed, and just kind of telling Benjamin of just how proud we were of him, and not just because of golf, but to let him know just how proud we were. And so we had typical. I'm not sure how you guys are. Spencer, yours might be too young, or Key might be getting there, but it was a typical like, okay, good night. All right, it's time for bed now. Question, Dad, Mom. Actually, the question was, hey, Dad, I'd like to talk to you, but I'm gonna wait for Mom to come in too. Like really? What?
Were you in trouble?
That's what I was like,
going to the principal's office.
What are we doing? So, but anyway, it was just like, not saying it was a stall tactic, but it was a great stall tactic. Just like, and it's always the deepest questions at night, and it's like, and they know. Well, his first question wasn't real deep. It was, can I watch the Sunday night football game?
It's a good question.
Son, it's been a long week. We're going to bed. School tomorrow, because our kids do have school tomorrow. And then he wanted to get into like some other stuff, but it was so we spent some time up there, and we can, as we dive into things, I thought he brought up a pretty good topic, which Ashley and I tried to dive into with him a little bit, which is why I was a little bit late getting down here. But anyway, just talking about the week, just a great time to be there. Just big shouts to Coach Adam and all the kids and the kids from all over. We did a panel one night in front of all the kids. It was Tony Finau, Tom Kim, who are both golfers. And myself, like, who's the one that doesn't belong up here, right? And so we sat up there, and the kids got to ask us questions, and there was a MC that was Michael was up there with us and asking questions, and so just a lot of fun to be a part of that and that weekend, and joking with Tony, who's I know Tony a little bit, and I just got to meet Tom, but just a really, really fun week for the kids. They did ice cream social. They had this 100, probably bigger than 100 foot, 200 foot like jumbotron on above their putting green. So they're playing like college football games. They're playing movies on it. It was just an unbelievable. They did an ice cream social for the kids. it was just an unbelievable experience. I mean, it was a really, really cool thing. So just a really neat experience for the kids.
What a wild thing to. So what are the age groups? I know Jamin's in the 13 and under?
11 to 13.
Okay, so
our team was younger, and we were, Benjamin was one of the younger ones. I sent you the picture.
Yeah, dog.
The first day he played against a kid that was 13, almost 14, because as long as you're 13 at the cutoff, you can actually be 14 there, which if anybody has kids and there's a big difference between 11 and 13, let alone 14.
Brother, thing called
there's
puberty.
a picture. This kid, Benjamin's standing there, and it's a two-man scramble. So it's two guys versus these two guys. And Benjamin and his partner, Bentley, are both littler guys. And they go to play the kid, they're going to shake, they're like,
I know, bro. I saw that picture. I was like, whose dad is that?
the kid, I think he shaved before he played. He was 6'1", 180, 190.
Dog, that's me. That's my size.
He looked
13.
bigger than you, though. No,
no, brother, listen. That's not hard to do.
And he was like 13 or 14, and I'm like, and Benjamin's like barely 5 foot, like 100 pounds maybe. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I saw that photograph. I'm like, that brother drove himself to the course,
and he hit the ball like he was, man. But some of these kids are so good at golf. And it was just a great experience. We didn't do great, but it was a great experience for the kids.
That, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Let me just tell you guys this. This should sum up our group. Okay, some of these kids in these teams, like this is like they've been there for multiple years. Some of them have won it in years past. Tony Finau's son is a monster. He's really good, and Tony is an assistant coach, which still doesn't feel right to me that Tony can be an assistant coach for one of these teams. But I get it. He's a parent. Tony, you're a cheater. But they do like these intros, right? Like all the kids get to say like their favorite club, their favorite food, their favorite player, like all these things, and they ask them like what they're here to do. And so like team will be like, we're team Minnesota, we're here to take the trophy back to Minnesota. We're team Georgia, we're here to do what we're supposed to do. Like like these.
Yeah.
We're team Pennsylvania, we're excited for the ice cream social.
Is that really what they said? Please tell me that's actually what they said. I saw there were sprinkles.
So I mean, I think our mindsets were a little different.
No way, bro.
But hey, you know what?
Was this their first time there?
It was their first time, man. And so it was. This was a good experience, and we were all like, we're a very young team, so but it was just funny. So I had anyway.
Listen, I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing because I'm like, that's a good answer.
It was a great
That's
answer.
a great answer.
The only thing would have been better is if we would have been like, if we could have dominated and been like, see, yeah,
ice
so
cream,
serious, and we're all ice cream.
Just mad my mom didn't sign me up for golf growing up.
man.
Based on what you're describing. I got like
That's insane to me.
got like a hand-me-down jersey from the girls basketball team.
Did it fit? I'm sure it did. Yeah, right. What sports you play, Jerrad, growing up?
I grew up playing basketball, baseball because my grandpa liked it, but I didn't like it.
No.
And then soccer, obviously.
Yeah. Why do you say obviously? Why'd you say it like that? Well, and soccer.
Jerrad Lopez.
And kicked on the football team a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, your extensive.
Yeah, and
Football
we know
career.
about kicking.
Well, we all know about that.
We know
It's
about that.
renowned.
Yeah.
Renowned. People still talk about that. Northern California. They're like, oh, Jerrad Lopez?
People still talk.
For the right reasons. Well, that's awesome, man. That I didn't realize it was a whole.
Did you play sports? Sorry. Did you play sports?
Not enough to talk about. I played baseball for 9 years.
We're surfer, skater.
Yeah, we did. I skated. I surfed.
You were the...
I juggled.
Really?
No, not really. I was always benched in baseball until I got big enough to where like I'm left-handed. So first base, I was actually pretty lethal first baseman. I was a mediocre hitter, but nothing got by me in first base because I was fearless. Not because I was good. I just wasn't afraid of the ball. But I was just, again, a certain age, people just get way better than you. And so I taught myself.
Especially now, dude.
How to juggle.
My 13-year-old son was like, Dad, I want to play baseball. I'm like, you can't. I didn't let it. I wouldn't sign him up. I'm like, these kids have been playing since they were little.
Yeah.
And you
Unless
try to
you're a
jump.
stud,
You try to jump in at 13 and you haven't played.
Well, at that age, like in the high school age, you're like, I think I saw that guy on TV.
Yeah.
I think he used to play for the Mets. I don't think he's allowed to be in this league. Yeah. It's a whole different world now. Like I feel like if you're not considering it as a way to get to college or a way to pay your bills in the future, like it's a crazy thing. How early are parents starting kids with a professional intent?
Very early now.
And how do you feel about that?
there were some parents we talked to when we were there, and I'm, everyone's going to parent their own way. I'm not going to tell you how to parent your kid. If you want to ask me my advice, I'll give you that. But everyone's going to do it their own way. But there was just one specifically down there at this event, and I've talked to other parents, but there was one of these kids who at 11, they sent him to board, like he went to a boarding school so that away from his family to live so that he could just focus on school and golf at the school. So, I mean, at 11, and now he's, 13, 14 years old. And it's just like, and it was like, does he want to play any other sports? Well, it doesn't matter. Don't have a choice.
I'm actually, I'm curious.
Tough, but everyone's,
yeah, I'm curious because you're an elite athlete. Like,
thank you. Oh, Ben.
Yeah, I was looking at you on purpose because I wanted you to feel something.
I thought you saw some of my juggling. I thought I didn't want to,
when you were a kid, when we were kids, you could just kind of play sport, and it was fun. But it does feel like it's shifted so hard to like what you're saying. Everyone's prepping their kid for college and pro. Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in more sports the better. I played 3. I was talking to Tony Finau again, who obviously golf is and people will say this. People will say, okay, yeah, but football's, because most of my football teammates played multiple sports all the way through. Now I get people would say, well, football's not really a specializing sport, right? It's not a specialty sport where you need to probably specialize as an early age. But Tony, golf doesn't get any more specialized than golf. Tony's like, I played basketball, I played volleyball, I played football, I played all these things growing up. And he goes, and I just realized at some point that I wanted to play football. I wanted to play golf. And I'm a believer that I think that like football, basketball, and baseball were the 3 main sports I played. I think each one made me better at the other one. Each one has some sort of an element that made me better at the other ones. And the other thing that I really took into, which I think there's something to be said about it, is when I was playing basketball, it made me miss football and baseball. And then you go play baseball, and it's like, man, I miss basketball and football. And in football, and it made you miss the other sports, where if you're only playing one sport and that's all you do, how does your heart grow fonder for it when you're only doing that? I think there's something to be said about taking a break. Like we came home, I told Benjamin, I said, hey, put the clubs down, let's pick up a basketball, let's start shooting. Yeah. No, Dad, I want to keep it. No, it's time to start shooting some hoops and do something different. Because then when the spring rolls around or we're coming out of winter, it's like he's itching to get back. Like I love golf, I can't wait to get out there. And we'll still do some stuff in the winter, but I think there's just something to be said about missing that sport and taking a break from it. But I don't know. Some of these kids are going to say they don't ever want to do that. I'll be curious to see what those kids are doing in 5 to 10 years too.
I wonder though, even if like the way that we've set up kids sports, if they even have an opportunity, they know that if they take a break, the rest of their peers are going to excel because it's what they're focusing on. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's become so specialized.
Yeah. And there's definitely that fear. I believe though that if you put the work and the time and the effort into it and you're good enough, that's the conversation I had with Benjamin tonight. Is we said that so his where we try and are challenging him and pushing him right now is not being afraid to ask for help, whether that's schoolwork, getting in the Word, golf, basketball, whatever it is. When's the last time you asked for help in something?
Yeah.
And so there's something to be said about, and so I tried to tell him, I said, so here's the thing, here's the bar. That this is all the further that this is all the better you'll be able to get it, whatever it is. Here's your bar. If you want to do it on your own. Now, some people's bars are going to be different than others just because they're God gifted in certain ways, right? Yeah. But if you never got help, your bar is right here. Now, every time you ask for help, go get coaching, go get advice, go talk to someone, your bar goes up. Right. Because you're getting advice and you're getting help and you're getting knowledge from somebody. Right. Now, at some point, it's not like I can go be the best football player in the world by going and just asking people what to do. At some point, your bar's still going to be reached because that's just the way God made you. But why not get that bar as high as possible and see what you can do? And so that's where I wanted to challenge him. Is like no matter what it is, school, like golf, basketball, reading the Bible, whatever it is, find out where your bar is and then ask for help to get better. It's no different than what we've talked about on this show before. Right. Having somebody to talk to challenge, hey, Smith, I need your help. I need help with this. Hey, Jerrad, I need help with this. I text Kevin, hey, something's going on with my golf swing. I'm playing golf with my buddies, and this is all stuff I told Benjamin. I'm playing golf with my buddies. I'm like, man, I don't have it today. Do y'all see something? Like, what is going on? Yeah. I told him, I said, Scotty Scheffler, number 1 in the world, best golfer on the planet right now. I said, he has a coach, right? Well, why does he have a coach? He's the best in the world. You telling me that he can't fix his own swing? He can't do his own, why did I do this? Oh, he can fix all that. He doesn't need advice or help. Why does he still have a coach? Why does Patrick Mahomes have a quarterback coach? Why did the best in the world still have coaches? If they're the best in the world, they know it. LeBron James, similar commercial, Shea Otani, whoever it is, name it. They all have a coach because they're all striving to keep getting better. And Ashley was like, I'm the opposite. Like, I want to ask everybody everything. Like, give me information, right? And so that was just what we challenged him a little bit tonight with, was like not being afraid to eat that humble pie a little bit, ask for a little bit of help, and kind of see where that takes you and what you can do. And so that's the overview kind of our conversation tonight. Have
you always been good at asking for help, or is that?
No, not at all. No, and I know where he comes from. I mean, his comment was, I don't know if I already said this on here, if I said it before we came on here, but his comment was, I was going to fix it myself. Like I said the other day, when you were struggling at golf, you were hitting a little bit too much to the left. Did you ask anybody for help? You didn't come ask me for help. He said, no, because I was going to fix it on my own. And I'm like, okay, did you? He goes, well, no, but I kind of knew what I was doing. But I said, but I knew for a fact you got super frustrated. And you were getting emotional because you were frustrated because you didn't fix it. But do you think if you could have asked for help and someone could have told you right away, this is what you were doing, and you fixed it, you would have been better at it? That's a pride thing. And I think I can't say every man. I know I've been there where I'm going to fix it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out. I think that's a human thing, probably a man thing.
No, not me, man.
So no, I have not always been good at it, and that's why I'm trying to model that more and more for him. I want him to hear and see me talk to someone, ask someone, hey, what do you think about this? Can I get some help with this? Yeah. And so I think that's the best way to do it, is just model that for him.
Yeah, I think that's good, because I think even as you were describing the way you were saying that to Benjamin, it's like most of us dudes are gonna be like, oh shoot, I've got the thing. When you specifically said, he said, I'll fix it on my own. And you said, well, how did you? I thought to myself, like, oh, crap. Like, I've said, I'll fix this on my own. And if you ask me, like, well, did you? I'd be like, I'm getting to it.
But there are things that we can fix on our own. There's no doubt about it. Especially if we have the knowledge and skill to do it. Yeah. But if we don't have the knowledge and skill to do it, or if we haven't already, like the other example I used tonight is I said, hey, if I took a bucket of water and I took a sponge and I put that sponge in that bucket of water and I pull that sponge out, what's in the bucket? He goes, nothing. I'm like, right, because it's all in here, right? You filled up on this. Now, if I do the same thing, if I take that same sponge that's full of water and I have a bucket of water here and I put that sponge in there, what happens? And what happens if I take that sponge out? It's already wet. He goes, well, the water's still in there. I say, exactly. So you need to be a sponge that is dry, not a sponge that thinks it's wet. You need to be able to absorb as much as you can, because if you're already thinking, I'm full, I got it, I have the answers, I'm full. Then you're never going to be able to absorb any more of whatever this is, whether that's knowledge, whether that's wisdom, whether that's the Bible, whether that's school, whether that's math, science, golf, basketball. Put whatever you want in there. If your sponge is full, your brain, or you think you're full, then you can never absorb that.
When you were seeing that you were rising kind of in the elite level in sports, probably, I'm guessing middle school, high school, you're starting to rise up and set yourself apart from your peers. As a young guy, were you thinking like, I don't need help, I got this? Or were you pretty coachable, specifically in sports, where you're like, no, I need help, I'm going to ask for help?
I was probably yes and no. Like, there were times that I probably was like, okay, I got this. But then there were times that if I got frustrated enough, that I would ask. I think once I got around people that were really more knowledgeable than me, and I saw that I wasn't the best, that I was going to like figure that out to ask someone for help. Yeah. But it's still not easy to do. How
do you navigate this as a parent, teaching that principle, which I think, again, when you're saying like, you apply it to anything. It's really the principle you want to instill, not like, hey, try to get a better golf swing. It's learning how to accept and seek out help. How do you balance that with developing a young man who is a problem solver and an individual?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's a great question, because you want them to figure. You don't want everything to be like, hey, how do I do this? Hey, how do I do that? Because it's like,
well, you better Google something. You can leave me alone.
Because how do I spell this?
Yeah.
Well, So there is. I think you just you have to know what is the knowledge. What are they looking for? What are they asking for? And then have we already talked about it? Because that's one of my big pet peeves is like, why you're asking me the same question you asked me yesterday or the day before. And it's like, either you didn't listen to me, you didn't care to listen to me, or you don't love me enough to think what I told you was important enough.
Sure.
So I think that's things you have to take into account and consideration too. I mean, that's what I would say. I think you just gotta.
My first thought is, I always tell my kids, I'm not going to do things for you that I know you can do yourself. I even tell my 3-year-old that. So if I know you're capable of doing this, you're doing it. It's, Dad, can you get me a glass of milk? No, you're capable of getting yourself a glass of milk.
And while you're in there, let me get one of those.
So you can. We use the words problem solve a million times a day in our family. Problem solve this. Problem solve this. Problem solve. If they
it gets frustrating when they're like, I can't. And I'm like, well, yes, you can if you choose to, but you're not trying to. So
we keep saying problem solve, problem. If they get to a point where they're beating their head against the wall because they legitimately can't, then I'll say something like, what do you need from me that will help you problem solve this? And that's, I'm still putting this on you. Like, this is your thing that you're going to do. But I'm going to come alongside you and help you do it.
Yes, that's it. It's coming alongside. It's walking them through it, not giving them the answer. Now, obviously, if they're like, hey, how do I, create a program on a computer for something, you're like, okay, I'm not going to make you like, I don't know. Like, or I'm just, saying something, then you're going to help them with it. But if it's, I love what you say that if they know how to do it, like, let's problem solve this, and you try first, and if you can't, then we'll do it together, but without giving the answer. And it does sometimes get hard, especially if you're like, I feel like if you feel like it's like it's crunch time, or you're all right, let's speed this thing up. You want to give them the answer to the test, and you're like, gosh, this would be so much faster if I just told you what 2 + 2 was. Like,
Layla always wants to do it with them, and I'm just like, let them fail tomorrow. If they're being a procrastinator, if they have what it takes to solve the problem and they're not doing it, I'm like, I think part of that's reputation. Like, I don't want them to show up and look like a failure. And I'm like, let them stand up there and fail if they didn't do it.
We do. Granted, my oldest daughter is going to be 3 next month, so I'm playing a different game than you guys are. But we always use the phrase, me and my wife, well, we're going to have to rewash those dishes. Right. And it's under the principle of like, my daughter always wants to help wash dishes. I'm like, buddy, we wasting water at my house. It's just, and that, but the concept, the principle remains true for everything. It's like, at this age, I'm like, I want you to get involved. I want you to try. I want you to see, like, I have this, and I think I probably said it on the show before, but I have this thing that I use when I'm like training leaders. It's the triangle of eyes. Right, it's the information, it's the imitation, it's the innovation. Right, learn everything you need to know. All right, if my biggest thing is I want to teach you how to learn. Like you're saying, if you don't know how to, I figure it out. If you can't, do what I do. Do what I do. Take all the information, and then learn everything the way that I do it. And then after you've got those 2 things, go do it by yourself. Go make it yours. And so with our oldest daughter, it's me and my wife are always like, okay, so we're teaching her the concept of these things. Like, but for us, it's always frustrating, especially at 3 years old. It's like, oh, can you just help me? I'm like, girl, you know how to do that. Yeah. You know how to do that. Give it a shot. And I love what you're saying, but we're always saying, hey man, we're gonna have to rewash. As for teaching her, we're gonna have to rewash these dishes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
But
there's a book called Hunt, Gather, Parent. So, I wish I would have read it when my kids were super young, because it's fascinating, but it's along those. I'm sending this to you as a recommendation.
Yeah, Jerrad's, I think, got 4 books in the Amazon cart for me now, based on our conversation tonight. So that's cool, man. And I would imagine, based upon what I know about jamming, it would be challenging for me to parent him because he's so smart.
Yeah,
like he's already smarter than me.
But sometimes that's his downfall, right? Because he thinks he's smart, and I think sometimes he thinks that he knows all the answers, like whether it's golf or whether it's like school or whatever it is. That's why I think he doesn't want to doesn't ask, because he's like, I know, like he plays with unbelievable amount of like confidence. Like you would think that he knows how to hit every shot and nothing phases him. And I think it's that way with school too, and getting in the Word and things like that, where it's like he doesn't need the help. So that's where it is, can be tricky.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a long on in Texas.
Yeah. What's good, man?
And you saw Tyler.
Oh yes, we did. We got to go. Thank you, Tyler from Dude Perfect. Friend will come on the show. I reiterated to him that he has to.
Good friend.
But yeah, he took the time out to have our family go see their new facility there, because it's right out there outside of Frisco. Super top secret. Can't talk about it, but
I didn't see nothing.
It was spectacular and a lot of fun, and the kids were through the roof. Tyler threw a football while we were in there, and it was a pretty good throw. Not gonna lie.
Who threw it better?
Well, I think I threw it better, but he just happened to hit something that he was aiming for a long ways away on his first try, and so then my kids couldn't stop talking about how amazing of a quarterback Tyler is. So thanks, Tyler, for crushing my kids' dreams on me. But no, thank you, Tyler, for everything. It was just amazing.
Okay, so I'm actually curious about this. I'll probably ask him when he comes on the show, but I'd like to see it in real life between you and him, because those trick shots are ridiculous. But do you think doing a trick shot, hitting a specific target, is harder than having to like weave through a defense and lead a receiver and anticipate someone's path? Like,
no.
What's harder? Like,
Listen, what I did is way harder than what he does.
Do you think that it can translate?
He gets 4,000 attempts.
He's got a little editing.
No one's rushing him either.
Editing tricks.
So no one's hitting him either.
But like, do you think that could translate? Like, obviously you'll be able to have, some athletic ability to be able to do that, but to be able to lead a receiver read a defense, like, does a trick shot mechanics transfer to live play?
No. No. He can throw a football, and he threw it well, and he can do it, and he's a great athlete, and he's a great golfer, and he's a great guy. But no, it's not the same thing.
They should do trick shots. This is Tyler. I'm making a recommendation. Hi, I'm Spence, by the way. You don't know who I am. They should do trick shots, football trick shots, but they should allow TJ Watt to rush them.
Get hit at the same time
while they're doing the trick shot.
Why not? Tyler, stop being scared.
Let's see you hit the. Let's see you hit the gong.
Yeah,
let's see you hit the target then.
Let's see that, bub. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but no, thanks, Tyler, for taking the time. Really, really appreciate it. Really meant a lot to the kids and the family. So thank you.
That's awesome. That whole Dude Perfect ecosystem they have over there is a phenomenal thing.
Crazy.
So speaking about sports, why don't we jump into some news around the NFL, because a lot happened this week.
Well, we need to start with prayers to Aiden Hutchinson.
It just came in.
They were in Dallas today, and he broke his tibia, I think we said. And he had to have like emergency surgery there. And so big prayers to you, man. That's that can't be easy at all. Obviously, family watching, friends, just goodness, wishing nothing but the best, bud.
Yeah, you hate to see that happen, man.
Yeah.
Especially to a player like that. What a talent. But I think some of the stuff that's been making the biggest news has been the New York Jets. All right, so earlier this week, I guess it would technically be last week. It's Sunday right now. Jets fired their head coach.
Robert Saleh, yeah.
Saleh gets fired what seems to be abruptly.
It's awful early in the season for it, in my opinion.
What's your take? I'm not even going to pad it up.
I feel like it's early in the season for that. He's a defensive-minded coach. They have got a really good defense. Things haven't been going well. I know Aaron came out last week and made some news saying that he had nothing to do with it, and obviously we have to take that man for his word. It doesn't look good at all, though, when they say that the owner and he had a meeting the night before he got fired. But, I still, if Aaron said he didn't have anything to do with it, then he had nothing to do with it. But, it's crazy that they did this early in the season, in my opinion. You talked about last year. I heard someone say that. The last year they said, okay, the only thing the Jets were missing was an elite quarterback, which was Aaron Rodgers. He got hurt. Aaron's back this year, and their offense, I think someone said their offensive stats are, their numbers are the pretty close to what they were last year. So is that on the head coach? I guess he's your leader. He's the one. But, man, it just feels awful early to me. But I'm not – I guess that's why I don't own a team and I'm not in charge because – I mean, we'll see this week. Don't we? We play them next week coming into the Acrisure.
You don't own the Jets? No? Okay. Well,
somebody made the comment like teams that go to London and lose, then their coach gets fired.
I feel like that happens a lot. Like it's like you can't go there and lose.
Yeah. I know people because again, 2 + 2 seems to equal 4, right? You have
Most
a
of the
meeting and then all of a sudden something happens. But for a quarterback to have that much influence in an organization, is that a realistic thing? I know there's probably
some guys have a lot of pull in their organization
to the point you can get the coach fired.
I mean, it seems like a lot, but I mean, he got a lot of. He wanted some receivers. He got them. You know, he wanted Lazard. He wanted Cobb. He wanted some people there. He got them. I sure wouldn't think that he has that kind of pull. I think I've heard he's got a great relationship with the Johnson family. But I sure wouldn't think so. I mean, he told our great friends on the Pat McAfee show that he had nothing to do with it. So got to trust and go with it.
Yeah, I'm taking him at his word, man. Right? There's no reason to believe. I mean, again, we could wildly speculate. That's
of course,
fun.
that's what's fun.
You know, but at the same time, it's like, listen, I'm sure the guy's trying to play football. He's trying to win games. You know what I mean? But yeah, that would be wild if the opposite is true. If that would be a wild thing, because then where do you go from here?
It's a lot.
Because whatever
he wants.
They got old
He's
boy.
a player coach. That's where that would be the only
Jackie
place to
Moon.
go. The only place to go. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that. I think that was the biggest news. What do you think the Jets do from? Are we the first game after that? Are they playing?
I think they had to have a bye.
No. Yeah,
They didn't play today. They're not on right now, so they had to have a bye. Which is probably why they did. That's usually the other thing because when you go to London, usually you get a bye unless you stay there and play. So that's the other reason that they do it after London because they get 2 weeks off.
We'll catch up.
So I don't know what's going to happen.
So could there be any chance that they're trying to just set the precedent right now? Like everyone's job's on the line. We're making an example. If everyone doesn't step up, you're getting cut.
I'm going to go on a limb and say Aaron's job's not on the line.
Aaron's fine. I think Aaron's not going anywhere.
And rightfully, I mean, you get a generational talent. That is. So we're going to be the first team they play since that happens. What implications do you think that has, and what do you think you're looking for?
Well, I just think
first week?
I honestly, I just think it's going to be an easy excuse when the Steelers blow them out.
Hey,
just saying. I think they're going to be like, well, we just
where's
got a
our
new
head coach? I didn't get. Where's our?
We left him in. We left
Jets
him in
play
London
tomorrow.
Do they?
Against the Bills.
Okay.
Oh, well, then we're not the first team.
Thank God for the internet. If there's only this thing that we can look things up
Never
at.
mind, I was off.
So, yes. Battle of New York, right?
Which by tomorrow means like today.
Yeah, when it drops.
For the
Right.
So they're on Monday night.
They're Monday
So that's going to be exciting to see against Josh Allen and the
That will be interesting to see.
Okay. Yeah. So some other quarterback news I think was actually really cool to see over in New England. Drake Maye got his first start. He was an absolute animal in UNC. I'm always curious to see if that college talent can translate. Turns out this week we saw might need a couple more weeks to develop.
But that's what you expect. I mean, you're not going to be able to just come in and light the world on fire unless you're, certain guys have. Obviously, we know Daniels has in Washington.
There's this one, I don't know if you saw it. It was like he came in and then went 15-1. Rookie, it was
some
just
guys
like
get lucky.
It was crazy. It was you know who I'm talking. Yeah,
but no, I think it's not one. I always I've said this many times. You give me 3 years? Give me 3 to 4 years for quarterback. I'll tell you if I think they're worth it. And I like Drake there. I know there's a lot of people that had issues with him, didn't think he was great for certain situations and reasons and whatever, but I liked some things he was able to do. So it'll be interesting to see what he does up there. I think that team is kind of struggling anyway. They've had some new transition, new coaches, new things happen. So give him some time, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I thought what we saw from him is got to knock the rust off. There were glimpses.
See, we were flying. I didn't get to see it, so I didn't get to see what happened. But I was curious to see kind of how he played. Check the highlights out at some point.
Yeah, and you're talking about rookies. I mean, you mentioned him right there, and I don't think you can talk about rookies without mentioning Jayden Daniels. I think his meteoric start to his career has been crazy. Is that something? I know you said 3 years, but is that something that you think this is the blueprint. You got to watch out. This is MVP conversation consistently, or like, are we just early in the league's going to figure him out?
Well, you don't know. I did not know when he was coming out. I know he was obviously very highly touted coming out. I wasn't as high on him as other people, only for the simple fact I didn't see him play a lot in college.
Okay.
I saw a couple games, but obviously he got drafted high for a reason, and people thought he was, him, Caleb Williams. Who was it going to be? I just didn't know a lot about him, so that's the only reason I say that I didn't know much, is because I just didn't know much. And by watching what he's been able to do, he does it with his arm first and foremost. I think he tries not to use his legs, and his legs are very dangerous. And so I think that's what's neat to see, is that he's doing it with his arm. He's making the plays, he's making the reads, using his legs when he has to, and they're weapons. And so to me right now, it looks like he's got the total package. I think that team is really set up well. I think they've got a lot of good young talent. And so I think that they're doing some really good things right now. And it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it going, because teams are going to start figuring him out a little bit. So can he rise above and keep asking for help and getting his game to the next level as other teams are starting to figure him and them out?
Yeah, he's been someone that's been extremely fun to watch. And it has been interesting because you and I have talked to, all of us have on this show for a while, talked about the significance of a pocket passer. Is that style of quarterback gone? I felt like there was maybe a 3 to 5 year stint in the draft where you were getting these guys who you wanted to be a dual threat, but they seem to be predominantly like runners with a good arm. And I feel like we're seeing in this rookie class, like in the last, maybe even going back to last year with CJ Stroud, some actual pocket passers coming back. Like the quarterback position's actually going back to that style.
I definitely feel that way. I think Caleb is the same thing in Chicago, was kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. He had a rough couple games to start. Had a huge game today in London, albeit against the Jags. It's still. But I think Daniels in Washington's doing the same thing, where he's using his arm first. Caleb, CJ Stroud has all the tools. I mean, he will sit in the pocket and throw the ball and make some amazing throws, and rely on his legs when he has to last minute. So I really think that we're seeing some good young talent that is utilizing arm first before legs, and really kind of legs just to get out of trouble.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the most exciting thing, because I know the start of the season was kind of slow, and it was all kinds of the stats. We even talked about it on this show about the lack of offensive performance, and then all of a sudden these quarterbacks kind of wake up. And I feel like when you get the pocket passer that can pick apart a defense, it is some of the most exciting football I think you can watch. I mean, how many games in the last week or so where the Bucs scored 51 on them? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The Dallas Cowboys, I think they just stopped.
The game how'd the game end? I mean, is it even over yet? Still going?
I think they just 21 skunked it, and a parent came and closed the game down. I don't know what happened there.
But I think Benjamin said, did Dak get hurt? I said, no, son. They just pulled him out because they're paying him $60 million and they don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
47-9 final score.
Yeah.
47-9.
Yeah. That's
good for you guys.
Yep. So
how does that make last week's loss?
It's tough. Well,
no, because we should have done that.
Yeah.
We should have done that.
That's what I mean.
Oh, I
guys,
thought you were
we can't talk about the Cowboys because Bart's crying right now.
Well, no, I just texted. Yeah, but Bart. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Bart. So let's do this, man. Let's grab something to eat.
Yes, I'm hungry.
It is now time for the Footballin family dinner. All right, today we have.
Oh, is that my cue to go get the food?
I'm tight. I can get it for you. Yeah,
no,
Jerrad.
This is your segment. Sit down.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
No, because if you spill my food, I will be so mad.
I never spilt food.
Watch,
plenty
this
of drink.
Slide right off. He's gonna spill it all. This is gonna be disastrous. I don't feel confident in this guy.
Today's food is brought to you by.
He's not good with numbers.
Not Evan.
I made you some quesadillas.
Hey, did you though? Did you? We are still in contract negotiations with Evan.
Over there.
Oh yeah. Well,
we're doing family dinner.
We'll give it 3 years and we'll see how it progresses. All right. These are blackened chicken quesadillas from the lovely establishment.
It is.
Goodfellas Draft House.
Oh.
Thank you. Oh, they're not. I'm just kidding.
We had to pay for those.
Yeah, we
Oh,
paid
thanks.
for these. But hey, if you guys see this and want to give us for free next time, we'll take it. Yeah, so we got some quesadillas here for the football and family dinner. And
Lord, thank you for this food. Anyway,
oh, there you go. All right.
sorry.
This is
I'm just eating.
so this is a segment.
That's how we start our family meals. We pray, so I'm just praying real quick. Go ahead.
I prayed as I carried them over.
Is it like Chick-fil-A where it's just pre-blessed?
It's already blessed.
I like that.
You know, like you don't have to pray for Chick-fil-A. It's already blessed. This is so the football and family dinner is a segment of this show where we have food. We'll dive into some life stuff. But this is Ben's actual dinner. This is legitimately his actual. This is a real family dinner.
Just double down.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What are you doing over there?
I was trying.
Jerrad, you've had a quesadilla before, though, right?
You tried to jump the sour cream out.
I
and the
tried
whole
to
thing came
dump
out.
the sour
Yeah.
cream. I'm gonna just pass the.
No, you're good. I'm good on the sour cream. That's
You're good. No.
You're
rolling,
from-
bub?
yeah. I'll take them. You're from California, man. How are you
that
having
mean?
so much trouble with the quesadilla?
It's the sour cream.
Oh, the sour cream got you. All right.
Gelatized. Ben,
Yeah,
give us
there
a
you go, there you
word
go.
of the day.
Word of the day with Ben. Dude, you know, hey, what was the thing you said? Matriculating? Matriculating? Yo,
Matriculating.
hey, one of the commentators legit said that on TV.
They watch our
and
show.
we-
I was
knew.
like, there's no way this fool ain't seen Ben say that.
Yeah.
Matriculating. Is that a normal football term though? Because
Yeah.
I'm new
One
here.
of my terms.
Okay, matriculating.
Normal Ben term.
Every time I say it, I'm like, this can't be a
It's
real
one of
word.
those things where when you hear it, then all of a sudden you start hearing. We probably heard it 15 times that week.
I'll never hear that again in my life. But no, matriculating.
Matriculation.
Is this a fake word? I feel stupid when I say it. Is it a real word?
It's a real word. Right? Right, family?
All right. Well, hey. All right. Well, so we got quesadillas. What else do you got for us, Jerrad? What fun
man.
family things you got for us?
Do I get a beer too with this?
Oh, do you get a beer? Do
Sorry,
you ever?
Jerrad.
Yeah.
While you're thinking about it, I need to get my beer.
Hey, we're
I mean, I have one here, but
no. It's
we always sample a beer during this time too.
You know what? I'm gonna find a way to get more wires over here. I don't have enough. I don't have enough cords. And I always think about that every time I shoot an episode. I'm like, I need more cords to tie me down. All right, this beer, you're gonna like this one, and maybe. All right, this beer right here. This is from New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay.
East Rock Brewing Company.
Okay.
To be exact.
Sounds great.
A crisp lager for you.
Sounds great.
All right.
I love
East
lagers.
Rock Dunkel lager.
That does not sound great.
Well, it means dark in German. This smooth malty lager has notes of toasted bread, caramel, and chocolate. And listen, man, East Rock Brewing Company is known for their Billy Goat on the label. This is their.
Don't taste like Billy Goat.
Well, you love Dunkels, dude.
Why did you do this?
What are you talking about?
I was so excited for the family dinner,
Dog, you asked for the beer. We could have, and now it's
and
open.
you decided to give me a Dunkel.
You're
Dude.
a big Dunkel guy.
Big
I've
Dunkel
always
guy.
known that about you.
Yeah, when you think about Ben, what do you think about?
Dunkel.
Tank.
Dunkel.
As soon as I met Ben, I said, this guy's a Dunkel.
Big Dunkel guy.
Huge Dunkel guy.
Okay, I don't have a cup for you, but let me smell. Oh, yeah, you're going to love that, dude. Go for it.
Well, I need to go get the cups.
I'll get the cups. I'll get the cups.
I'll get the
you're
cups.
Okay. Oh, Jared's getting the cups. Guys, we are so
Jared, do
good
you know
at
where
this.
they are? No. Okay.
Well, hey, if we get the cups, I'll taste some with you so you don't have to.
Over here.
Over here, Jared.
Over here.
What is that, a chalice? Yeah, that's. There you go.
Dunkel, now it's a candle.
That's a
now,
Dunkel cup.
Now it's going to be in the. That's it.
That's a. I've never. I mean, is that made for Dunkels?
No.
Each beer got a glass.
Not a Dunkel.
Candle.
Not a Dunkel.
You can
Not
fit
a
like
Dunkel.
4 or 5 Dunkels in that joint. Hey man, why don't you matriculate yourself on over here and get this?
Yeah, matriculate yourself over here.
Something ain't matriculating right.
Keep coming here. Under the, this way. Nope. Towards us, right here.
Here, dog.
Yep. Pull one of those doors open.
Brother, I
Next
could-
one over. Left. And that's a dishwasher.
I could make these cups from
Sorry,
scratch
people.
before you
No,
find
it's
this.
a top shelf. This could have been so much faster if you just. Yep. There they are. If we could have just got up and got this. This is. I'm sorry, guys. Jared, you're not really endearing yourself to the fans right now.
Hey, if you're not watching the video and you're just listening to,
You have no idea what's
I'm
going
just sorry. All right, let me.
No, it wasn't good.
Called servant leadership. Sorry, you guys have never heard of it.
So slow.
Yeah, servant leadership. Next time you should put that in Google Maps so you could find it a little bit quicker. Yeah, I got you. You want? Yeah, I got you. All right, so this is at first glance, this is a dark lager, as stated in the description. Dunkel as we've learned, means dark in German. That's what this can tells me, and I believe anything that I read on a beer can.
I don't know. I like dark beers.
I told you like it. I'm going to be honest with you. You probably won't enjoy this.
Okay.
But
I'm going to smell it first, okay?
yeah, go through your process. Mm-hmm. Go through your reads. There you go.
Okay. There's my first pre-snap read. Looks like a blitz. Looks like a blitz coming. Yep. Ray Lewis is barking at me. He's telling me that he's coming.
You can deal with that.
Okay. Here we go. That's cover zero. That's all out blitz. That's an all out. Yep.
He said that's cover zero.
You just got sacked by a Dunkel.
That is an all out blitz. That, you know what? I'll be honest.
There's no way you like that.
No, I don't at all. But I've had worse.
Yeah,
we've had much worse.
That's not a bad Dunkel.
It's not a bad Dunkel.
But there's no way. Like if I got that for you at a brewery, you would politely drink half of it, leave it somewhere on accident, and then grab another beer.
Yeah, or I would accidentally spill it.
Yeah. Like,
I really like that, but I'll try something else.
Dunkel. Well, since it's empty,
Yeah.
what do you think, Jerrad?
Yeah, not a
Dunkel guy?
not a Dunkel.
I think he just backwashed it back into his LaCroix.
LaCroix. You chased it with a LaCroix?
I did.
Well,
I'm going to go back to drinking what this one was.
I don't mind it.
I'm proud of them for what they've done. I'm a
there you go.
big fan of them getting out there and doing it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
To you guys, East Rock.
East Rock.
East Rock. It's a good Dunkel. If you like Dunkels, I think that's what we're getting at. Is that we're not big Dunkel people, but if you're gonna get a Dunkel, you should get it from East Rock Brewing Company in
I agree.
New Haven, Connecticut.
Is Dunkel a normal beer word?
Yeah. It's a dark lager. It's a dark German lager. I actually know a lot more about Dunkels than I let on to, but it's funnier if I just read it and did this. But that being said,
Sorry.
now we found a beer that you actually do enjoy that you can have with these quesadillas during the football and family dinner. Jerrad, what do you have for us today? The football and family dinner.
Oh man, I just got back from Seattle.
Nice.
Woke up this morning, left Seattle, flew here, and but I was there speaking at a U.S. Army military base for a bunch of soldiers. And dude, I've never done that before. Spoke a lot of places. Never at a military base.
So I was going to ask you that. So if people don't know, part of the stuff that Jerrad does with Dad Tired is he travels and he speaks. How is speaking at a military base different than the other Dad Tired stuff that you do?
One, it's much more secure to get in.
Yeah, I got to know somebody who knows somebody.
So that was cool. And there's like helicopters and jets around. So that was fun. As you're looking out the window, you don't normally see that kind of stuff. But so in all the conferences I do, I'm always telling the guys, one of the big, I have a whole section on how important it is to have solid dude friends. Cause I'm always speaking to guys. So how important it is to have these guy friends, really get into like what you were talking about with Benjamin, having guys where you can ask help, which is the hardest thing for all of us to do. And just saying, what's my blind side? Like, what is it? Where are my blind spots on this? Look at my life, look at my marriage, look at the way I'm raising my kids, the way I'm living, and is there something you see in my life that's off? No dude really wants to ask that, but we all need friends in our lives that we can ask that question to. So anyway, I give that kind of like spiel. But the military guys, what stuck out to me, I'd never like experienced this before, is they were saying they can't really do that, or they don't have high motivation to do that, or it doesn't feel realistic to them, because they're moving every 2 to 3 years.
And you're trying to intentionally develop community.
Like, dude, have deep friendships where you can share anything with, and guys know all these, the deepest parts about you. If your marriage is struggling, you don't struggle alone. If you feel like you're failing as a dad, if you're addicted, you got somebody that you could talk to about it. And so, but they were like, that sounds nice, but why would I go through all the effort to build a friendship like that? And the guys around me are going to leave 18 months from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
That sounds a lot like a locker room. It sounds a lot like guys on a football team and it happened to me. I mean, I think my first two rookie teammates got cut. I mean, it's like, I think a lot of guys go through that, and I know I did numerous times where it's like, man, I'd rather, it's hard to get close to someone because they could be cut, they could be traded, they could be released, they could be get hurt, and it's like, man, I just spent 2 or 3 years becoming best friends with that person or becoming really close with them, and next thing you know, they're gone. It's like I'd almost rather not even do it than put the time and effort in and then lose them or not have that. So I can. That's interesting. I never thought about that in the military, but it's definitely something real that we deal with in the sports world.
So maybe you can speak on their behalf, Jerrad, having spent some time with them. What's the remedy to that? Like, how did you navigate that in the league when your job can take you? Because I would imagine in both instances there are types of jobs too that you don't really have access to a whole lot of people that would get it, right? Your job happens in public, right, and their job is extremely difficult. Yeah. And it's probably traumatic. And there's just stuff that like, yo, man, if I do come over and we're chopping it up over, a beer around a fire, I ain't going to bring up all this stuff.
Right.
So what's the remedy in that?
Well, that's what I asked them too. I was like, how do we fix this? Because you guys need friends. Like I always say, if you push stuff down or you bury it, you think you're burying it, but it always bleeds out somewhere. It'll come out. That stuff that you're dealing with, you're not really burying it. You're just pushing it for it to get squeezed out somewhere else. It'll come out on your kids. It'll come out on your wife, your work, somewhere. It's going to bleed out somewhere. So I was like telling them, like, you guys we got to figure this out. And one guy said something super interesting. He said, when we sign up for the military, you're signing the line that says, I'm willing to give up my life. I know I'm sacrificing up to the point of where I would give my life for my country. Mm-hmm. But he's like, one of the unspoken things that it's like in the fine print that's not really there is, you're also giving up friendship. So he was basically saying like,
you know what you signed up for.
This is it. I'm not going to have friends. But I was like, dude, that doesn't.
What an interesting perspective.
It's a super interesting perspective.
Do you feel? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, as he was saying that, and I told him this, I was like, so Layla and I used to be foster parents, and when you take in a foster child, it's a similar dilemma in the sense that like, how much do I want to invest into you, knowing that this child might leave?
No, that's interesting.
Like I could pour out. We got a little girl come into our house, and within 24 hours, she was calling me daddy.
Ugh.
And dude, just ripped your heart out. But my first thought is like, do I want to give her everything? Because this might rip my heart out too. She could be gone in 3 days. She could be gone 3 years, 3 months. And I made a decision. Crazy. I was just like, as a follower of Jesus, I'm just going to wake up today and give her 100% of my love, not knowing what she might do or how this situation might turn, because that's what Jesus did for me. Yeah. And I told him like, dude, so maybe that you need to be a friend to these other guys where you're just going to say, whatever guy is to my right or left, I'm going to be the best possible friend to you. And maybe you get deployed out or sent out or somewhere else, new orders tomorrow, but I'm just going to do what is right today.
Yep.
As hard as but that's the sacrifice of being a Christian.
Yeah, that's way easier said than done.
Oh, totally. It is.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
That's what I do too. It's like you just gotta do it. Just go.
I mean, that's beautiful, bro. Like, to that perspective that dude said about like, hey, I knew what I was signing up for. Is there a point in the league in which you came to that realization as well, or you just kept your circle close and it is what it is?
No, I think I did. I think I got to the point with like what Jerrad did is like, no, I have a role here of trying to be a leader, trying to be the best man, Christian, pass on what was passed on to me. And so I think I went through a phase of like, well, this is stupid. I'm not going to go be close to guys because I'm going to lose them anyway. To no, I'm gonna go do it and do the best I can to work that relationship and to be a father figure, a big brother figure, whatever it is, and just you feel like you have a responsibility to be a disciple to them as well.
Yeah.
So it's just, but you have to make a conscious decision to do it.
Yeah, I think it's cool, man, to even hear those different perspectives on this specific matter, because I would imagine a lot of people could relate to that, whether it be, in their workplace. Maybe they don't have to work for the military or an NFL team. Maybe, it's in the office or whatever it is. Some salespeople that travel all the time, stuff like that. But I think it's a unique dilemma that people face that you wouldn't know how to talk about it, right? To where it's like, unless it's an intentional conversation about friendship, you're like, oh man, I don't know. You might not even know what's happening to you, bro. Yeah. Like, I just don't have a lot of friends in my 30s or whatever it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, well, why is that? It's like, You have external things closing you off. You have internal things that are closing you off. We've touched on some of that kind of stuff, trauma, whatever, life experience on the show before. But what an interesting conversation, bro.
One of the guys, he was actually retired, and he had been Army for 30 years. But he's like, my whole thought was, I'll just keep pushing. I'll have friends when I'm out. And he's like, now I'm out, and I don't know how to have friends. It's like I never had a friend. And I spent 30 years of my life just kind of pushing it off, and now I'm out, and I don't even know how to be a friend or to have a friend. I thought that was super interesting.
Tough.
But isn't that human? I'd be interested to hear you guys' thoughts on this. But what we're talking about is really like the human experience for everyone. Like, how much am I going to give to you because you might hurt me?
Yeah.
Our wives could do that. Like, I'm not. All of us are like safeguarding in some ways with every human relationship.
I think vulnerability is tough for people.
Totally.
Obviously, everybody.
Yeah, it was interesting. That's the thing I've been thinking about the last like 12. I just got on a plane after getting done with them, but traveling today, I was thinking about that. It's like a really fascinating.
Yeah, your time was good out there though. I mean, outside of
it was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I actually had more guys reach out to me from the dad tired community. They other military guys and like, dude, we need to have you come out to our base and stuff. I think it's needed for these guys. Like, I think they're longing to have these kind of conversations. They don't have the opportunity to have them a lot.
Well, and this is something, man, that like, because I have family members that serve, and I know, we've had these conversations. We've said on the show how grateful we are for the men and women that dedicate their lives to protecting our freedoms. But it's heartbreakingly such an overlooked people group, man. I feel like servicemen and women and veterans, it's like they go through the most insane things a human being can go through. I just think we can be doing more for them, whether that be like institutionally or just relationally. I think the church, we have a responsibility to care for these men and women. It's just so to know that that's happening in little spurts, man.
Yeah, totally.
It's like they have willingly walked into war and a lot of times very literally, So it's encouraging to me to know that, not just you, but you are out there like caring.
Yeah, it was. I was encouraged by these guys. The fact that they'd give up their Saturday to talk about this stuff, and they said one guy admitted, he's like, dude, I know how to like come up with a combat. Yeah, I'm totally ignorant with the language that they've got such like a language that all these acronyms and stuff. I'm like,
they're all smarter than us.
Yeah,
for
way
sure.
smarter. But they were like, I could come up with all these plans and stuff at work, and then I go home and I have no idea how to like manage my family or my friendship. So I think they're hungry to have these kind of conversations, which is awesome. Cool. But anyway, it was good, man. It was a great trip. I was trying to catch up on thinking about them on the way home and watching football stuff. Did you guys catch while I was on the West Coast, you guys know I lived in Oregon for the last 12, 13 years before I moved out here. But did you guys catch the University of Oregon, Ohio State game?
That was a great game.
That was insane.
It was like, who's going to have the ball last?
I just saw Ohio State lose.
It was crazy. Good. I saw Ohio State lose, and I felt kind of bad for Lane and Beal, our two friends that just live, breathe, everything Ohio State Buckeyes, and they got quacked. But it was a great game. But anyway, so what about it?
No, I just caught that on because I was out there. I was trying to make it out to the game, but I just couldn't. Timing didn't work out for me to get out there. But some of the players, there were just like a handful of players on Ohio State's team that they put together this whole like, I think it was, I don't know if it was impromptu is the right word, but basically planned this kind of on campus, just talk to their peers about God. I don't know. They were telling their stories. A lot of these guys have recently become Christians. And so I think when they planned it, they were expecting it to be kind of small, and they're up there they're just sharing the stories. One of the guys, I think he was a wide receiver, running back for the team, but he's just like, dude, I was depressed. My life looked good. You see me on ESPN, we're winning games and I'm living it up. But like deep down, I was like actually deeply depressed and nothing was fulfilled. And then he became a Christian. And he's like, this is the thing I've been looking for my whole life. This is the fulfillment I've been looking for. So he's sharing that story. But as he's sharing it, it went from like 200 students just kind of watching and listening. By the end of their time, they had 800 students. They ended up baptizing, I think, close to 60 students on the spot.
Holy cow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The Ohio State University?
Ohio State
That's
University.
awesome for for a young generation to do that on their
crazy.
own. That's
crazy.
That's good for them. That's awesome.
Man, kudos to these young men too, man.
Yes.
I know that's a conversation we've had a couple of times talking about like really leadership.
Yeah.
is what it is, and it's leadership in the capacity of the men's specific responsibility. You know what I mean? That's not to say that obviously women can't be leaders. All of us have married women that could lead an army, but there is a unique responsibility I think we have men have that, like, man, for real, today's day and age, man, is if not being lost, being fought for, just trying to rip it out of our hands.
Yeah.
Right. And so to see young men take that step of leadership, you know, is I think some of the most encouraging things. I think
Super rare, dude. I just read the study that for Gen Z, they would be 12 to 27 right now, that age group. They, the men in that age group are reporting higher desire to be part of godly things, churches, leading in their churches. And it's like the first time hundreds of years that men have always been like, you can get a dude to show up for a football game. You can't get a dude to talk about God or religion or show up to church. You know, there's always the missing
women,
demographic.
Yeah, the women have always been leaders in that sense. That's awesome that men are stepping up. Like
These
young
young
men
dudes,
are stepping up to lead. That's the important thing. It's the next generation.
Yeah.
To step up and lead. That's awesome. Good for them.
Inspiring. Yeah,
That's
it's really
awesome.
inspiring.
Gen Z, good job, guys.
yeah. Come on now.
Anyway, I went to follow some of those Ohio State guys, just to hear more about their story and what happened this summer with all that. And I saw some of them that were part of that were already following Dad Tired. So I'm planning on having them on the Dad Tired podcast, and I want to unpack that story and what's happened.
Did you see Luke Montgomery on there by any chance? The name ring well? Well, okay.
No, that's dope, man.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah, it was cool. It was a good trip.
Yeah. Well, let's do this, man. This episode's been phenomenal. I feel like we have so much to celebrate. People meeting Jesus. We got young men being leaders. We got the Steelers bringing home a dub. You know what I mean? We have Jerrad's phenomenal quesadillas.
Did you guys like them? I was kind of nervous sitting them out there for you. I didn't feel like,
you know what?
If I
If I had to order one, it would have been just that. You know, what I mean? Like if I was going to order one from a restaurant, it would have been that.
Really?
Yeah,
Just like that.
You nailed it. But let's dive into some football, man. All right. So we're sitting here tonight. It's Sunday night. Obviously, we aired, Monday is when it will drop. But we are sitting in a Steelers victory. All right. Now, we went out to Las Vegas, try our hand, if you will. Ben, what did you see that you liked? What did you see that you were a little bit worried about? We're going to do a general overview, hit some of the highlights that stood out to you.
Okay.
But one thing that I want to, and we can probably dive in and talk about this a little bit more extensively. One thing I want to highlight is I'm curious about is Russell Wilson being healthy,
Yes.
being number 2, and not needing to go in,
Yeah, I don't.
not getting
no.
to go in. Was
Yeah,
there a
we can
plan?
talk about that.
I'm curious on your take on Russell Wilson. So that being said, Steelers win, man. What did you see?
Takeaways. Steeler Nation did exactly what I expected them to do, and they showed up and turned it into a home game. As always, great job. Doesn't surprise me at all. Not surprised that TJ Watt wrecked the game for the Raiders. Just that's what he does. It's unbelievable. The punch that he has, I get really, really nervous that he's going to hurt himself. But it is deadly, and it created 2 fumbles today. I thought it was a good start for the Steelers offense. Obviously, you want 7, but you went down the field. You matriculated down the field. Saw some good things. I didn't like that then the Raiders went down the field and kind of answered. Made me a little nervous, but in typical Steeler defense fashion, they stepped up. They created turnovers. The Steelers protected the ball, which is always a huge thing. There are obviously some controversial penalties and things happened in that game that I think were totally beneficial, obviously, for the Steelers, detrimental to the Raiders. So you can look at it like however you want to look at it. Well, they shouldn't have done the penalty or whatever, but the Justin threw a bad interception that got reversed because of a roughing the passer. So you can say, well, you shouldn't rough the passer. Totally agree. I thought Justin did a great job. It looked like he actually held the guy, pulled him on top of him. Smart move. It's a new move now.
A little squeeze.
Anyway, that saved it, and they scored. There was also a 3rd and forever that the Steelers had that they called another roughing the passer on, which I didn't see at all. But again, we'll take them because they always seem to go against us. And then the Raiders just kept shooting themselves in the foot, turning the ball over, got down the goal line, turned it over to TJ Watt. So lots of things kind of going on in there. I thought Russell Wilson, obviously being the number 2, potentially ready to go in the game. I think I mentioned to you as we were watching the game, we got to, you had asked me, I think at one point, you said, what's it take for Russ to go in the game?
Yeah.
And I said, I think the only way that he gets in the game is if Justin has 2 really bad turnovers.
Yeah.
One turnover might kind of get like Mike to look and be like, we start thinking about this. And it had to be a bad one, not like a tip ball, something crazy, but just a really bad turnover. And I think two bad turnovers would have maybe made head coach considering at halftime. Just a thought.
Sure.
Again, this is just my opinion, my thought. As we were getting close to half, maybe the end of the first, into the second, I was kind of like, man, it's just, he's not turning the ball over, but just not really seeing that spark from the offense. I said, there's an outside chance. But then they went and they did their thing, and then he comes out, and I really think I think Justin played well enough again. His stats aren't going to be gaudy, but what he did with his arm, what he did with his legs, I thought was really, really impressive. I mean, at one point before Najee's touchdown, we found out that he was the only rushing touchdown of the team. I mean, and he had 3 of them. I mean, then Najee obviously had a great run. A great touchdown and over 100 yards, I think, for the first time all season. Great job running. Sat a guy down on a little shake. Little R2 PlayStation button.
Little R2.
No, I just think that I thought Justin actually played a good game. He went on some spurts there where he had a couple bad throws in a row. But all in all, I would absolutely not even think about taking him out of the game right now. I would keep him in there. And even if he has a bad game, I would keep him in there because right now they're rolling. Yeah, they lost 2. They got this win. But I think he's playing well enough. I think he's doing enough. You saw with his legs especially, making things happen, creating. And not necessarily this time wasn't design quarterback runs. It was him extending a play, stepping up in the pocket, and just keeping the play alive. So I thought he played well. It's good to know what you have at the backup, and Russ is there if you need him. I just think what you're going to get from Russ is more pocket presence to throw the ball down the field, but you're not going to get that extend the play like Justin does because he's a running back there when he decides to run. He's a really, really talented runner as well. And
honestly, there are probably 4 that I can think of, possibly 5 plays where that saved the play.
For sure.
Him being able to roll out and get that and led to points. I mean, 17 points, it says here, we got off of just Raiders penalties.
Which is absolutely crazy and ridiculous. And, I mean, you can sit there and say, well, it's their, they made the mistakes, they made the penalties. Again, I thought there were a couple that were a little, I mean, I thought we hit a receiver on the back like crazy, like hit him upside the head. And
Landon Roberts smoked that dude.
No flag. Hey, good for us.
I'll take it.
Again,
one thing.
Fields bear hugs and gets a roughing the passer call. Great job.
I'll take it.
We'll take it.
One thing I wanted to pick your brain about, man, is at the end of the third quarter, you had this, the Raiders actually scored, and then you had this call coming in, what I thought was a little bit late of a illegal man downfield.
Oh, awful.
What do you think about that?
Awful call. Well, here's the...
Worked in our favor, but...
Yes, here's the whole situation that's so crazy, is a guy's... It's not even an RPO, but the guy's blocking, and he blocks hard, and he kind of stumbles, and he ends up being like 2 yards downfield, and then he kind of steps back to the line of scrimmage. And so, yeah, by rule, was he downfield? Maybe. Maybe. I can't even tell you for sure. he got back, but how are you going to penalize an offensive lineman for blocking and kind of stumbling? I've seen that happen before, but then the play never should have counted because the clock hit 0.
Oh yeah, that was a whole mess.
But instead, the play counts. They back him up, and then the next play, the guy runs for like a 12-yard run down to the 2-yard line, and then they fumble. TJ comes through and does TJ thing, and the Steelers get the ball and they end up not scoring. And it's like, holy cow! Like, if they don't call the man downfield, then it could potentially, it's a different ball game potentially. And then you could say, well, the play shouldn't have counted. Okay, well then if the play doesn't count, then it's not a penalty. So there's a lot of ways you can go with it. I thought I hated to see, and maybe I'm biased towards linemen because I got my love for Pounce and the boys.
Right.
But I didn't love the call. I think you heard Gene Steratore say the same thing. I don't think I don't think, and if he did say that it was a good call, then I call BS on Gene. I think you're getting old, Gene. You don't see it all the time. Anyway, there was a lot of weirdness that happened, but the weirdness always happened in our favor this time, so it was good.
Yeah, I feel like that was
usually doesn't happen in
uncharacteristic. Our favor. There were so many. Every time I saw a flag, I think I'm like traumatized. I'm like, okay, so take it back, and it was for us. Like, oh,
well, listen. Where there's usually needs to be a penalty 5 times a game is a hold on TJ. I don't think they called one of them. So that's probably their thing. Like, well, we didn't call any holds on TJ. Well, you called every play, but he affects the game in other ways, and it's unbelievable to watch. I mean, the man is just.
And that's actually something we haven't talked about in the Colts game, Cowboys game.
Did he get held every play?
Dude, in the Colts game, it was like. There was, I don't know, probably at least 5, maybe 7 instances when it was so egregious. Yeah. If you go back and look at stills, I mean, TJ's wearing these guys like a backpack.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure TJ's saying the same thing.
It is absolutely wild that you wouldn't even get a look. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like when you have like higher profile players like that, are the refs
supposed to get
like
some calls?
Are they tuned into a player like that?
You sure think so. He should. If anyone's going to get calls, he should.
Right? Like, if like, hey, we know what TJ is. He's probably going to get, should we look a little bit more? Or
there's a lot of guys out there that get those kind of calls where you're like, boy, what?
Them.
Oh, he got that call.
What'd you think about the play calling? Anything stand out to you? I think,
I was going to ask you about that trick play.
Oh, the trick play. The same trick play the Lions ran for a touchdown.
Yeah,
it was, I think, the exact same play.
Yeah.
So I'm
break that down for us. What do you mean by that?
Well, I
so
can only break it down
play,
so much.
We know the trick play on our end, right? And so we switched over to, I think we had the red zone on one TV.
Yeah.
And then like moments later,
they showed the Lions score
touchdown
on the same play. Well, it's kind of one of those plays that like it's a reverse flea flicker, take your shot. But if you're looking at the defense, and it looks like the defense is bringing a lot of people. I'm not calling it an all-out blitz, but they're bringing a lot of people. At that moment, like you know that the ball is going to kind of get handed to a couple different people and then pitched back to the quarterback, and it's a play that you probably need a little more time on. You don't necessarily want a team blitzing on. That's a situation where I would think that you want to either have a couple things happen. You want to have a quarterback or the ability, I should say, to kill it, like kill, which means that craziness is off. We're going to now just hand it off and run it. That's what we would do on a flea flicker or a play. Kill, and then you just give the ball to Naj or whoever the back is, and they just keep it and they run it. You'd like your coordinator to be yelling at Coach Tomlin, call timeout. This does not look good. Timeout. Or your head coach. Or if you're Justin, hey, this does not look good. Timeout. Because the situation is it's 2nd and 10. I believe it was 2nd and 10.
Yeah.
You can't afford for that play to get blown up for minus 10, 15 yards. You know, it's a play that maybe you run a first down after a big play, a 2nd and short, something where if it does lose yards, you still have a chance. But you just, in the Lions game, it wasn't a blitz. They were rushing 4. That you have the time to do it. In this game, when you see those guys coming, you've got to have some out. And again, that might be a coach calling it. It could be a player calling time, the quarterback calling timeout. But in that situation, you've got, if you know a play is going to take a long time, you better have some sort of an out.
So thinking about the quarterback play, because you mentioned Justin doing enough, I feel like every week we've been saying the same thing, right? Hey, he's done enough to win the game. He's done enough to win the game. And really, obviously, I mean, everyone would love a Patrick Mahomes, but I think, like, really, I mean, if you're collecting W's, that's what you're getting
Most
paid
important
to do,
thing, yes.
right? So we have 2 more weeks before our bye, right? We get both New York teams at home. The bye makes the most sense if you're going to make a change at quarterback, that's the time that you would do it. Ours happens to be roughly in the middle of our season,
Right.
which is even a better time. But sitting here at the end of week 6, has Justin Fields done enough to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think
asking.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, now that's not going to say that. Yeah, we don't need to talk about it every week.
Right.
Now, is that to say that, okay, he goes and has 2 or 3 bad games in a row, and it's not something you can talk about? Where I think you have to be careful is if you make that change or that switch, you're basically going to take his confidence, and it's going to be hard. You're going to shoot his confidence down, right? And so then what happens if Russ gets hurt? With that calf comes back into play. He's pushing a sled around in training camp, which is the dumbest thing to have your starting veteran older quarterback doing. But did I say that out loud?
Into a microphone.
Into a
actually.
microphone.
Yeah, we were recording, I think.
Anyway, if he happens to get hurt, now you're asking your quarterback that you just kind of in a sense benched to come back in now. Hey, we want you to come back now. Or if he doesn't play well, I mean, there's just so many things involved with it that you just got to be really, if you're going to do it, you better be super certain that you're going to stay with that guy for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because you just going back and forth, that's not a good look. It's not something you want to keep doing. It's just not good for confidence. It's not good for the team. They're used to one guy. Cadences are different. Feelings different. Balls come out different. It's all just, it's a different thing. So you just got to be really careful. And I don't think unless he goes on a little bit of a bad game run here, I don't think you take him out. I mean, he turned the ball over once, but you know what? They got a penalty, so actually he didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm thinking, man. And because if Justin's for real the dude of the future, then you don't want that shot to confidence to happen at any point in time because you're designing a team centered around this guy for the future. Now, if he goes on, I would imagine that you would have a longer leash knowing that you want to you want him to be the guy for the future. Because I feel like at the end of the season, you got to re-sign one of these guys or go look again. Right? So
Yeah. Well, we said on here that that I think that Fields is the guy of the future.
right.
I mean, we think that is. So there's nothing wrong with doing it now. The future can start now.
That's what I mean. So I just imagine like at this point in time, I feel like he's probably he would have to have some really, really bad consecutive games, just blatant mental errors, just mistakes. But I think like not like 2, I'm thinking like 3 or 4 of them to start to consider that because if you feel like he's done enough at week 6 to ride this, hey, we're going to give him a contract after this 1 year, then why would you even entertain the thought of deflating that dude's confidence that he have to build it back next season?
Yeah, I don't think you want to. I mean, I guess there's always that chance. Like you had that one game where, okay, they win the next 2, go on the bye week, comes back the next week, and just has one of those games that's a bad game, right? 3 or 4 interceptions, and it's like, you know what? Today's not your day. You're still our guy, but we're going to put Russ in for the rest of this game just to ride this one out. There's always that scenario that could happen, and it's not necessarily a confidence taker because you're like, we're just going to do that for the rest of this game because you don't have it today. It is what it is. And then it's like we're going to put Russ in, and then you'll get a little bit of a glimpse of what you got from Russ. But again, I just don't see a scenario right now where you're taking the ball out of Justin's hand. I don't see that right now.
He has all of the rushing touchdowns but 1.
I know.
And almost half of the touchdowns for the whole season. I think they're at 11, and he has 5.
And that's bad that they only have that many. But so that's what the
Good job,
person,
Justin. Check my numbers. Obviously.
But that's what I'm saying. The person on the other side of the sword is going to say, yeah, that's our issue. We need a guy that can get the ball down the field,
Right.
that can score more touchdowns, that can maybe not run as many, but he's going to be able to stretch the ball with his arm because he's more of a passer. He's a veteran. That's what Russ brings us. We need more splash from our offense. Well, they got some splash today. They capitalized on turnovers from the Raiders. They did what they were supposed to do. They forced the ball to Pickens late in the game. And obviously I don't think that our offense was like scaring anybody today, but they put up points and they did what they were supposed to do and they won the game.
This was the first time we saw the Justin Fields Steelers score more than 30 points.
Yeah.
Right, and that used to be I think your benchmark, your standard as an
30
offense.
was our number.
Yeah,
It was always our number. That's a lot. It's a lot. And you know what you got? But you got help from the special teams today. Danny Smith got a block punt.
Yes, sir.
I think he actually blocked it with his bubble gum from the sideline. The defense got 2 fumbles, an interception, at least 3 turnovers, maybe.
Yeah, defense was.
So it was that's a total team win. That's what you do. You capitalize on playing at Pittsburgh West.
Which one? Which Pittsburgh West?
It was crazy.
This one because it was crazy.
Yeah, the Raiders put the stadium put towels on every seat.
Yes.
Like white towels for the Raiders, and you couldn't see one of them.
Not one.
Every towel was
Ashley texted me at one point. We were down here watching, and she's like, "It feels and looks like a home game up there." I'm like,
Tomlin
yeah.
treated it at the end of the game. He was like waving to the fans, like, "You guys,
Doesn't surprise me.
you guys are amazing."
Is there a stadium that isn't like that maybe isn't a divisional rival? Because I feel like everyone that outside
Division
of,
rivals, you're not getting.
yeah, but outside of the division, right? Because they're there to hate you guys. But outside of the division, I mean, especially out west, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I think maybe would rival, maybe a 50-50 split would be San Francisco.
Yeah, San Fran was tough. Seattle was a little bit tougher too. Back when they were in, their
The old Legion of Boom.
yeah.
But
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. It was fun. It was fun to watch. It was a great game. I know Steeler Nation's excited for this win. Again, I think the most exciting thing is you were supposed to win it.
yes.
When you're supposed to win, you go out and you win, and you did it. You can sit there and say the team wasn't very good. The Raiders weren't very good. Okay, they weren't, and we went out and did what we were supposed to do, and we dominated.
We
them.
showed them, yeah.
So
Showed them that.
good for you guys.
So I want to move to this real quick because I think this is going to be significant impact on the team. We had a couple injuries. I thought Alex Highsmith was going to work back, but we lost Alex Highsmith. He might be working back the next week or 2. I think they were talking about. And then you had Herbig, who was out in his place. I think Moon, who came in, who's actually the dude that blocked the punt. He did a phenomenal job. One player that went down, Zach Frazier.
Yes.
So he went down with an ankle injury. I don't know if it's even reported yet what that ankle injury actually is. But when your center goes down, especially a guy as tough as Zach Frazier and the impact that he's had so far, what impact do you think that's going to make even going into the Jets?
It's tough when you lose your center. That, to me, as a quarterback, that's your safety blanket. That's when Pouncey was in there, I wasn't even thinking about the snap. Like, that's the last thing on my mind. I knew that we were good. I was thinking about all the other stuff involved with playing quarterback. When you don't have to think about the snap, that's huge. And so when you lose that guy, and listen, it's been well documented that we've had center quarterback exchange issues both from the shotgun and under center this year.
Yeah.
So now you're going to get rid of that guy and go to someone completely new. Now I would venture to say that he's going to tape it up and he'll be out there in a cast if he has to. I just feel like he's that kind of dude, that toughness. So I expect him to be out there next week. But when he goes down in the middle of a game, like that's not an easy thing to have happen. I mean, that's your guy that you have the comfort in, that he's making the calls at the line of scrimmage for you, changing things and doing whatever. And so I thought they handled it really well. I think it also helps when you've got a lead when that happens. But they came in. I didn't see any quarterback center exchange issues, so I think that's a plus. But if I were a betting man, I would bet that he'll be out there next week.
I'd like to see it. That's for sure, man. Well, against the Jets, you think we're going to see Aaron out there? I know he had an ankle thing.
Yes.
He's probably
Aaron
playing.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be out there.
Yeah. And are they good? I don't even know what their record is. I have paid zero attention outside.
The Giants. They're like
Jets.
2 are the Jets? Who are we talking about?
Well, we go back to back.
Who are
We
we
go
talking
Jet.
about? Sorry, the Jets.
Giants
on TV.
are 2 and 3.
Giants are
Giants
Jets are 2. What?
Jets are
Who cares? Both New York teams stink.
Jets are also 2 and 3.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
even know who their coach is.
they don't either.
No.
All right, man. Well, hey, I'm predicting another win. I hope it's. I was gonna say as dialed in as this one, but
Yeah, we'll see.
I'd like to see the offense tighten up a little bit. I will say this one thing that I want to give kudos to Pat Fryermuth. Naj had some great runs. he was the springboard for a lot of those runs. I mean, there was 4 or 5 of them where
Selfless.
he was just in there doing, and I expect nothing less from Pat. I mean, he's the dude, but like he is doing that dirty work. And Pat, I want to give you your flowers, man. It was phenomenal to see you out there doing, playing your game.
Hated the touchdown got called back because Justin was 3 yards behind in front of the line of scrimmage, but
Yeah.
that would have been an awesome touchdown. But
So I get to next week.
yeah,
All right.
we'll see.
But other than
2 weeks. Oh, sorry. We got two games.
2 games,
Then our bye.
Then our bye.
Our bye's gonna be fun. We're gonna do a little fan interaction, right? Little questions on that night. Are we gonna talk
Oh
about
yes,
that?
we
maybe?
are. Fan fuel.
We're gonna get. I just letting people know we're gonna get Evan back down here. We're gonna get a guest coming soon. We actually have someone on the docket. Hopefully we get that soon. So it's gonna be fun. We got some cool stuff coming.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming. Other than that, we appreciate you guys. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow if you're not already on Instagram at Footballin with Ben. Stay up to date. We'll post clips of the show and we'll give you guys heads up on cool guests and giveaways. We might do some more of those this year. Live streams as we bring those back.
We're gonna
Those
do
are coming.
We just need a game that's not a crazy late one, guys. That's all. We're just waiting on a normal game that we can do, where we're not up till 1 o'clock making you guys watch us.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of dads. Like we're really tired.
Plus, you guys can't. If we do live streams,
Like that.
we can't timestamp.
That's true.
Spence, thanks for all your work in timestamp, because we know there's people on this that watch the show that don't want to hear about all the cool stuff we have to talk about, which doesn't make sense to me, but they don't want to, and that's okay. But thanks for taking the time to timestamp this for everybody. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And all those people out there that get to just fast forward and not have to worry about all that. Thank you.
I get some of the
They still hate on it, but it's
Yeah.
amazing. But they can just
I get
fast
some
forward.
of the comments sent to me. I don't read. I do way too much on this to go through all those comments. But the individual who runs it, I'll get some of them sent to me. He's like, man, I literally read one that said, I wish there was a fast forward button. I'm like, brother, this is the internet. This is a fast forward, but you can skip all of this.
You don't have to watch any of the
What
show.
are you talking about, man? Ain't no one forced you to click this. Who forced you to click this in your house, man? Like, are you okay? Like, what are you doing? You don't have to watch this.
No,
Yeah.
we're glad you do watch,
Yeah.
but you don't have to.
Like, what are you talking? But for those
Even
of
if
you
it
that
were
do,
on a VHS tape, there would be fast forward buttons.
brother, you are 40 years past your complaint. Yeah. So, hey, well, those of you guys that ride with us, man, tuned
Appreciate
in,
you.
we appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you entertained it. And we hope that you appreciate Ben's insight. There'll be plenty more of that. Like I said, at Footballin with Ben on Instagram. Go ahead and follow that. Also, give Dad Tire a follow as well. You will benefit from those resources. Other than that, we look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.
Out.